Today I wanted to make a quick video discussing my decision to change from Rapier and Bow. Now I made a lot of content with Rapier and Bow for the open beta, and I really wanted to try out Rapier and Bow during the open beta because I thought it'd be a build that would suit my playstyle the best. Now that I know a lot about the game, I can kind of pick the weapons I want to play and, just go according to what I like personally. And this video is not for people who just want to play what they like. I just want to get that out there now. This is my opinion. This is my personal opinion based on what I've seen in the game, based on what I think is going to happen to the game. And I don't want people thinking like what I'm saying is the end all be all, or if you don't do this, you're wrong. That's not what I'm trying to say. This is just for a certain group of people. This video that I'm making is for a certain group of people. That group of people is the people who want to be the best. Not the people who just want to have fun, not the people who just want to enjoy themselves and have a good time playing the game with their friends and, just play the game. Literally just play the game. It's not for people like that. It's for people who want to be the best. I'm talking about the people who want to top frag, the people who want to do the most possible damage, the people who want to be 1vxing, getting clips, all kind of stuff like that. That's the kind of person I want to be. I always strive to be the best when I take a game seriously, especially in MMO and New World. I want to be the best in New World. Now, in order to be the best in most online games, you have to follow the meta. If anybody who tells you otherwise is not telling the truth. Yes, there are some exceptions where you cannot follow the meta and make something work, but for the most part, 99% of the time, you want to follow the meta. Okay, so what is the meta in New World? Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's not going to be Rapier and Bow. I'm sorry to tell you. And I'm going to explain in great detail why that is. Like I said, I played Rapier and Bow. I played both of them extensively. I know all the weapons and what they're capable of doing extensively now, to the point where I can tell you this. So the way New World works, right, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So the good thing is there are a lot of different weapons, and we can choose between those weapons and put them together in whatever way we want, and basically make our own class, which is awesome. I love that. But the bad thing is, because there's so many weapons, not all weapons are going to be good as other weapons. Not all weapons are going to be able to do the same things that other weapons can do, and that's fine. The problem is, what can this weapon do versus what can this other weapon do? So the way it works right now is, let's take for example a rapier and a sword and shield, right? So a rapier does way more damage than a sword and shield, but a rapier can't block like a sword and shield can. A rapier can't CC like a sword and shield can. They have pros and cons, but one doesn't outweigh the other. They're pretty equal in what they can do for you, right? Now let's take a rapier and an ice gauntlet. Okay, a rapier can do a good amount of damage for sure, but a rapier has to go into melee range. An ice gauntlet can do a good amount of damage for sure, but it doesn't have to go in melee range. A rapier is single target damage, and an ice gauntlet is AoE. So, and an ice gauntlet has CC. A rapier has very little CC. So when you're thinking about this, right, why would I play a rapier when I do the same or arguably less damage in a 1v1 scenario than an ice gauntlet does? When an ice gauntlet can do all these other things, the only thing the rapier is beating the ice gauntlet on is mobility, which mobility is important for sure. But then what if we compare a rapier to a great axe? You compare a rapier to a great axe has mobility, CC, and damage, single target and AoE damage. Rapier just has mobility and single target damage. So you see the difference? That's a huge difference. That's why people go Great Axe. That's why people who want to play melee go Great Axe, because Great Axe is the best melee weapon because of not only its tracking and gravity well, those things are also a part of it, but also because it has AoE. You can fight more than one person at a time with the Great Axe because you have a cleave. Then we go to, okay, let's compare the bow now, which the bow compared to the ice gauntlet's not even close. What can a bow do that an ice gauntlet can't do? Shoot someone from extremely far range? Okay, yeah, but what are the odds of you consistently hitting people from that far away, unless they're literally standing still or you're just third partying them while they're fighting someone else, and even then they're going to be moving a lot. Hitting a bow is hitting bow shots are extremely difficult, and the damage that you get for hitting those bow shots, even at extremely long ranges, just doesn't seem to be worth it when you can compare it to an ice gauntlet, where you can still do pretty significant damage from range and also be good at melee and also have tons of CC and AoE. The only bow AoE is, come on, we all know the bow AoE is not that great. The poison cloud is not great. The rain of arrows is not great. So I'm not saying this to complain. I'm just saying it because this is what it is. This is the game right now. And until they change these weapons, if you ask me, it would make sense for the single target damage weapons to hit harder than the AoE damage weapons. A bow should be hitting maybe 2 times harder than an ice gauntlet should be, because an ice gauntlet can hit way more people at the same time. So it doesn't make sense for their damage to even be comparable when it comes to single target. There should be AoE weapons and single target weapons, but that's not, I mean, that is the case, but the thing is, the single target weapons are all, they don't do a meaningful amount of damage to make it worth to play a single target weapon. So I'm not sure why anyone who wants to be the best in the game would play these weapons. And I've always been a small scale PvP guy. I've always been the guy who just wants small scale. I mean, I'll do a few wars here and there, but I've always been a small scale guy. And also, even if you're not a small scale guy, even if you really are focused on wars and only wars, think about it realistically. How many of your game hours are going to be spent on wars? You got to think about that too. I mean, even if you got a war every single day, it's only 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day, are you really going to spec your character just for that? That's something you got to think about. That's something I thought about, and I'm not really even a war person. I'll do some here or there, like I said. But even in small scale, there's going to be times where you're fighting someone and there's going to be 2 people on you, or 3 people on you, or 4 people on you. And if you have a rapier or a bow, you're going to have to focus down one. And if you try to focus down one, the moment you get that man below his threshold of like 40%, he's going to run away and go heal up, and now you got to fight the next person. And that's if you could even get him there. Other than that, you just have to run away and hope that one of them comes to chase you far enough to where you can do something. Whereas with an ice gauntlet, you can zone, you can put down a storm, an ice shower. You can capture 2 or 3 of them in a CC and then blow one up real quick. With a great axe, if you catch them with a CC, catch them off guard, you can hit all 3 of them at one time with a heavy attack. With a bow, you're not going to be able to do any of that. With the rapier, you're not going to be able to do any of that. It's just unrealistic. Those weapons can't do these things. But it is very realistic to get jumped in the open world PvP. It's very realistic to have 2 or 3 people jump on you at the same time. It happens all the time. And then when I had a rapier on, I really didn't have an answer for that. My only answer was run away, and hopefully they chase me to the point where I can get an advantage over them. That's the only choice I have, and that may still be the choice sometimes if I use an ice gauntlet or a great axe, but it won't be the choice anywhere near as often. So that's why I'm going to be switching from Rapier Bow to Ice Gauntlet and Great Axe. I've already played Great Axe, love Great Axe to death. I think it's a great weapon. I think it's OP, got to be nerfed. But until they nerf it, why would I not follow the meta? Ice Gauntlet, same thing. Ice Gauntlet, I think, is the best weapon in the game right now. Maybe the Fire Staff is the only one that the only one that could compare to it. But I think both of those weapons are the same right now, and I think you guys are gonna start seeing a lot of people rocking at least one of the Fire Staff or the Ice Gauntlet or both, because they are just that good. They are good single target damage weapons and good AoE damage weapons. They both have the Fire Staff has the mobility, the Ice Gauntlet has the CC. You can't lose. You can't lose with that setup. There's no one who's gonna beat you. There's no weapon that's stronger than both of those weapons. In a 1v1 anything, it just doesn't work like that. The game, those weapons are just too overtuned. And until they get down tuned, or until the melee weapons that are not great axe get upscaled to catch up to them, because great axe is really the only melee weapon that's hanging right now because of all the things I said about it earlier. I just don't know. I don't see myself playing anything other than that. I don't see myself playing anything other than great axe and a fire staff or an ice gauntlet, because me personally, I'm just that guy. Like I said, I want to be the best, man. I don't want to just play the game like you guys do. I want to be the best player, and that's what I'm gonna do. So if you see me rocking a great axe and an ice gauntlet in my future videos, now you know why. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and you guys have a great rest of your day.